Hello YouTube, this is Fenrir and this is a brand new video of Star Trek Online. Now the reason I've wanted to do this video is because I've been playing this game for about 10 months now, and I did a lot of things. I mean, I did a lot of grinding, a lot of the missions, practically all of them. I've also met an amazing guild which we shared a lot. Actually, I'm going to post I'm going to put the link to our website into the description down below. But there has been one thing that has been kind of nagging me for about 10 months, and I've only managed to pull that off since a couple of days ago, which is the tour of the galaxy. Now, for those of you who are new to this game and are wondering what is the tour of the galaxy, well, it is a 15-minute mission with a 20-hour cooldown, which means that you can repeat this mission every single day for every single one of your characters. And as its name applies, the tour of the galaxy, you go into your ship and make a tour going from system to system. And the main objective of this is to gather energy credits, which is one of the main resources that you'll need in this game. Now, as I've said, I've been playing this game for about 10 months, and usually I was able to gather around 600 to 650,000 EC, which is not bad. It's actually really good. But now I think I've reached a point where I wanted to do the whole thing before the times runs out. So I hooked up the internet, tried to find out a good build on Reddit and on YouTube to find out, and I think I finally managed to find a good combination. So let's get on with it. Now, before we go into the actual ship build, there is one thing that I want to mention that you're absolutely going to need, and it is within the skill tree. So let me hook it up. You're gonna need to put at least 5 points into the science skill tree, which I'm pretty sure that 99.9% of you guys will do at some point. So once you put your 5 points into the science skill tree, you're gonna have a choice right here between the sector space travel or the transwarp cooldown reduction. If you want to be able to do the tour of the galaxy on time, you need to choose the sector space travel. That 25% boost in sector space is going to be vital. If you do not pick that skill, you're gonna fail, no matter what. So now that this is out of the way, let's work on to the actual build. Now, first of all, you're going to need a ship. Now, of course, you could go around, make the tour of the galaxy with your standard ship, but unfortunately, the thing is, with I don't know, maybe 95% of the ships out there, when you go into slipstream, you only go to slipstream for 30 seconds. And again, let me tell you, if you're only doing 30 seconds slipstream drive, you're not gonna cut it. That is not going to work. So there are kind of a handful of ships that is going to have what is called an advanced slipstream, which instead of a 30-second in the slipstream mode, you're gonna have a full minute. So like I said, and on a side note, it is important to mention that doing the tour of the galaxy is much easier to do with a Federation character than being a Romulan or a KDF. Because try to do the tour of the galaxy with those two factions, your choice of ships is even more reduced. So I'm not going to go into detail too much about that since I'm playing with my Federation character right now. For this tour of the galaxy, I'm going to use the Fleet Experimental Science Vessel, which is, for those of you who are fan of Star Trek Voyager, it is the same ship as the USS Dauntless. It is not the fastest ship out there to go into Slipstream. There are another ship which is the tier 5 or tier 6 Vistas that can go a little bit faster, but I can tell you that any ship that has an advanced Slipstream drive will be able to get the job done. Trust me. Alright, so once that you've picked up your ship, let's work towards the build. Now, of course, the weapons, the deflector, you really don't need. You could go into these, you could literally strip this off if you want to. That's because I want to do a little bit of fighting with the ship. What you do going to need is a really good impulse engine, a really good warp core, and a special engineering console that I'm going to talk about a little further. Now let's start with a warp core. My recommendation for the warp core would be this one, the Obelisk Subspace Rift Warp Core. And the good thing about this one is that it's actually pretty easy to get. You'll get this warp core from the Sphere of Influence mission, which is part of the Solane Dyson Sphere story arc. And the thing about this Obelisk Warp Core is that if you look at those stats, you see that it has a 50% recharge time reduction on Slipstream drive, because that's another thing. When you go around in your Slipstream, once it cools down, it's gonna cool down for 2 minutes. But with this special warp core, it's cut down to half, so it's only a 1 minute cooldown. And another thing that's pretty cool is that it gives you a 20% turn rate while in Slipstream. Now, of course, the idea to be in Slipstream is to try to go in a straight line as much as you can, but there are going to be some places, as I'm going to show you once I do my run, that you're going to need some good turn rate in Slipstream. So I highly suggest that you pick that warp core up if you want to do your tour of the galaxy. Now, as far as impulse engines go, there's actually a couple of choices you can have. But again, my recommendation would be this one, the assimilated sub-transwarp engines. Now, this one is a little bit more complicated to get because it is part of the Omega, Task Force Omega reputation. So you're probably gonna have to grind a little bit of dilithium, some energy credits, and some Omega marks to be able to get this transwarp engine. But as you can look in the stat, you have a pretty good sector space transwarp, which is higher than normal. And the maximum speed is also modified by your sector space speed skill, which is the skill that I mentioned earlier. So it's gonna give you a really good boost. And again, on a side note, if you did the Phoenix event a couple of days ago and you have some Phoenix upgrade, I really recommend that you put this engine all the way up to Epic, because turning this into Epic gives you a sector speed 2, which will give you even more speed while in sector space, because you're not going to be able to go into Slipstream all the time. You're going to be in regular warp, so this is going to give you a bit of a boost. So I highly suggest that you pick that engine up. And last but not least, there is this engineering console right here, which is the Polaric modulator. Now again, just like the Obelisk Warp Core, this thing is pretty easy to get because it is part of the storyline. It is part of the Iconian War arc. You're gonna be able to get it from the Delta Flight mission. And the most important stat about this console is again the 20% turn rate while in Slipstream. And the good thing about those stats is that they stack. I don't know exactly how they stack. I don't know if it's 20 plus 20, which gives you 40%, or I don't know how it's calculated, but I know that it stacks up. Now I've upgraded mine to Mark 14, but I really don't think that's necessary. You could have this thing at level 12 and it's gonna do the job just the same. So yes, there you go. So you have your ship, you have your impulse, your warp, you have your engineering console. Now I'm the kind of person who like to have all the cards in his favor. So I like to have every advantages that I can get, every edge that I can get. So this may not be mandatory, but I might suggest that you pick that one up. It's a space trait, and it is right here. It is called Leadfoot. And as you can see, the description is that while in Slipstream you get a plus 25% turn rate and you got a plus 10% speed. Now if you've got a couple of hundred of EC, couple 100,000 of EC to spare, I think you can get one on the exchange for maybe 700 to 800,000 EC. So it's a little bit of money, but I can tell you that it does the work pretty well. You probably can do the full tour of galaxy without it, but like I said, I like to put all the I like to be thorough about this. I like to have all the stacks in my favor. So alright, now I guess we're ready to do our tour. So now we're gonna head out into space. Alright, now that we have geared up, we're gonna need a route. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the thing about going to Slipstream is that you'll want to go in a straight line as much as you can. So, of course, there is no, I wouldn't say that there is a correct path. It's probably with trial and error you're gonna find out. I suggest you do it a couple of times to know which path you like the best, but I like to use that one. So I'm going to prepare myself. I'm going to go into the Brashar system, and when I reach it, I'm going to go all the way down to hit the Tenebia system. Is going to be my first system, and after that I'm going to go all the way down, all the way to the Trailer system, but while passing to Orion and Ryza. Alright, I'm just gonna do a quick 180 here. Alright, now I'm ready. Now I'm gonna hit the Tenebia system, and now at the same time I'm gonna hit the mission. And now I'm gonna gauge my slipstream. Quickly, a thing that's kind of important to note is that now stars are kind of enemies in this game because they act like major speed bumps. So you want to try to avoid that as much as you can. The way to do that is that once you're coming close to the systems that you're going to hit, to try to immediately select the next one. That's why having a route is pretty important. See, I kind of bumped into the star. Of course that didn't slow me down too much, but if you're coming like square into a star, that star could stop you dead in your track and you might gonna lose some time. So that's why keep doing the tour of the galaxy and eventually you'll be able to predict it. The way I like to do it is that as soon as I reach the edge of the circle, I select my next the next place that I want to go. That way I can avoid bumping into stars. As I can see, I have 46 seconds before I can engage the slipstream again. I'm going to Drozana. After that we're going to go to Arcanus, and then we'll go straight up to Veronat. Now, I think I like to use the minimap kind of as a point of reference. Of course, that's really not as interesting as having the map open all the time, but it's a pretty good way to get it done. Because otherwise you're going to keep pressing M, doing the map all the time. That can be a little bit annoying. Did you see how my ship turned? That is the obelisk and the polarity modulator at work. Such good concepts. Now we're gonna veer east to Romulus as soon as I hit Vernat. And actually, sometimes, if you can be lucky, actually bump into stars can have some positive effects. It's all about practice. And as you can see, every time I reach a system, I gain 25,000 energy credits. See, I practically bumped straight into the star. Actually, it slowed me down, but in that case, that was a good thing because, as you can see, I'm doing a huge U-turn. Now we're gonna come up on Kittimer. After that, we're gonna go south to Kronos and Senec. Did you see that? I totally bumped into the star and I got stuck. That won't cost me too much time. It might cost me like a second or two. So be a little bit wary of that. Oh. Now after Senec, we're gonna go all the way up. And as you can see, after you visit, like, I think it's is it 9 system or 10? You get a little bonus of 100,000 energy credits just by visiting 10 systems. So that's pretty cool. Now after Feben, we're gonna go to Iconia, which is where my slipstream should wear off. So in my opinion, that's probably the most efficient way to acquire EC in this game. Of course, they're always the Endeavor, but that's always leaves yourself to luck. It's not a consistent way to make EC. While doing the Tour of the Galaxy, it's all about consistency. You get the same amount every single time. As you can see, I'm going at Transwarp 22.4. That's without any kind of slipstream. Ooh, I was kind of afraid that wouldn't register. Now as you can see, I'm going at 45.75, which is pretty damn good. See that? Now I don't know why that didn't register. I don't know if the game's trolling me, but now I kind of messed up. I need to go all the way back to that star. Some star can be a little bit tricky to get. Sometimes you almost need to bump into those stars. Now I might still be able to pull it off, but it's gonna be really tight now. It's just to show you that sometimes it's all about practice, and even after doing it time and time again, you can still make mistakes. Now we're gonna go south here. Some stars are a little trickier than others. You need almost to hit them to be able to register. Alright, now only 2 systems to go. And once I reach the Nimbus system, I'm gonna have to transwarp all the way to the Farah. And this is gonna be an annoying part of this mission, because transwarp takes a bit of time, and you go all the way into that system, into the Farah system, and you need to go to warp out. So that can be a little bit of a time loss, especially considering that I've already messed up. So yeah. Alright, let's see if we can save can save this door. Now I'm gonna quickly warp out. Yeah, now even if I'm in the first system, it still doesn't seem to register for some reason. So I'm gonna quickly head back inside. Alright, should be good. Now I'm gonna go into slipstream again. Now this part is actually kind of pretty straightforward. There's 5 minutes left. I should be good. I'm gonna go to Algira system. After that, it's gonna be Deep Space Nine, Corwin. Yeah, you're probably gonna need a little bit of practice at first, but eventually you'll be able to get it. You'll get used to it. You have your route. Because the route that I use is probably one of many routes that you can take. You could actually start in the Alpha Quadrant and finish in the Beta Quadrant, no problem. Or instead of doing a western-eastern path, you could go a north-south path. That could also work too. It's all about preference at this point. 3 minutes 40 seconds. I should be able to do it. Now we're gonna come to Beta Z. I'm alright. Okay. After that I'm gonna go to Chapel, Mizar, Zenket, and we're gonna be almost done. Alright, now I'm gonna quickly select Zenket here. After that I'm gonna go all the way to green. Oof. Sometimes when I pass a star and it doesn't seem to register, I kinda hold my breath because I'm like, oh, am I going to fuck up this time? And after that, when I hear that little weirdy sound, I'm like, oof, okay, I did it. That kinda makes me nervous. Alright, now as you can see we only have 2 systems to go, which are Ferenginar and Talar. I should have like almost 40 seconds remaining, so that little mishap I had in the beta quadrant didn't cost me too much time, because I usually can finish between 45 seconds and 1 minute of time remaining, which is pretty much the norm at that point. So this is the last system. Yeah, I'm gonna have probably like 45 seconds left on the clock. And there you go, Tour of the Galaxy completed, with about 40 seconds to spare. So of course I had a little bit more energy credits, but I can tell you that racks up to 925,000 EC. So if you can do that with all of your tune, you can rack up energy credit pretty quick. So yeah, this was the Tour of the Galaxy. So I hope you enjoy. So I might be doing some other Star Trek Online videos. So until then, well, later, fleeties. This is Fen signing out.